Gosh, it feels like ages since I've done one of these. It has actually been quite a while. It's been 2 weeks. So, yeah, this feels a bit weird. But hello, I'm back, and this is the second part of the Shirley Jackson series, and reading challenge number 38. So today I'm going to be talking about We Have Always Lived in the Castle, which is the first of Shirley Jackson's books that I read in summer. And this is considered her masterpiece, so a lot of people may know quite a good deal about it. The Blackwood family, who have lived in their village for the longest time, in their house, have suffered a rather huge culling of their numbers. That is to say, at family dinner one night all of them were poisoned, and the only survivors were Constance, who was subsequently acquitted of their murders, Uncle Julian, who's in a wheelchair and slightly suffering from some form of dementia or Alzheimer's or traumatic memory loss, we don't quite know what, only that he's a bit dithery and doesn't remember much, and of course Merricat. Merricat is our narrator, and she's not entirely reliable, and she's also quite strange. She is the only one who leaves the house. She goes into the village to fetch food for them, and we find out very quickly several things. One of those things is that no one particularly likes the Blackwood family, and they're all quite nasty to them, and Merricat is extremely concerned about protecting what's left of her family. She has this little sort of world in her home that she is working very hard to protect. She buries things in the yard to try and build a wall of protection around her home, and she's very concerned that Constance not go out because she's worried about how people will be with her. And it becomes obvious fairly quickly that there's more to this protection of her home and this protection of Constance than meets the eye, and there's definitely more to Merricat than meets the eye. I think it's fairly obvious early on what Merricat is and what she's done, but I'm not going to give it away just in case anyone has not read the book. Anyway, into their lives comes Cousin Charles, and his entry into the house basically undoes everything. I mean, Merricat tries to get rid of him. She leaves things in his bed and smashes mirrors and tries to destroy his things, but he in turn destroys hers. He digs up some of the things that she's put in the garden and takes some of the things that she's nailed onto trees to try and protect her family home, and she 100% believes that when things start going wrong it's because he's brought down her wall of protection in that sense, and that he is this poison inside her house, which is kind of, yeah, it's kind of interesting that she thinks that he's a poison in the house. And again, I'm not going to explain that, but anyone who's read the book will probably know exactly what I mean. Anyway, ultimately things go very, very wrong for this little family, and in one of her attempts to get rid of Charles, Merricat almost destroys the family home. And I don't want to give too much away, but suffice it to say the story ends almost exactly as it begins, and it is the most strange, whimsical, darkly funny little tale. It's a dark comedy and an extremely clever exploration of human nature and family and what we will do to protect the ones we love. It's almost fairy tale-like in the way it's been told, and I think that's very much purposeful. Suffice it to say, I thoroughly loved it. I just thought it was so magical and so strange and so dark. It just fulfilled all the tick boxes of things that I love most in books that I read. So I adored it, and I would highly recommend it, and that's reason one as to why The Haunting of Hill House disappointed me so much, because the first book of Shirley Jackson's that I read was We Have Always Lived in the Castle, which is just astonishingly beautiful and brilliant. So there is that. I would highly recommend it. And next week I am moving on to Man, which was the second book by Shirley Jackson that I read, and I was super interested to read it, not only because Man is just the most awesome title ever, but just because I found the whole premise of it really intriguing. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next Friday when I will ramble on about Man.